Hey there, happy day 972 of What You Up To Now. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here, documenting my journey as I transition from the brick and mortar real world of business and corporate America to the online world of business. A couple years ago now, actually more than a little over 3 years ago now, as part of my divorce, I had the opportunity to do something different. Had to divest myself of all my real world businesses and could explore and decide and do something else. Now, I was too old to want to start a new brick and mortar business, but too young to retire, right? Still have too much energy and too young to retire. I'm old, but I'm not old enough to be done yet. So I decided, what am I going to do? And I asked myself, what the heck am I going to do? And I'd always been interested in the internet and the online world. Had not really had much opportunity to dabble or do anything in it because I was busy doing other things, raising my family, getting divorced, running my life, having different businesses over a quarter century in corporate America. So it wasn't a priority. And, we were still sticking around wondering if this whole internet thing, this whole World Wide Web was going to stick, or if it was just a fad that was going to go away, right? Remember that? So often new things are invented and come along and everybody's like doubtful, and the early adopters are all into it, but then the rest of us are just waiting along to see if it's going to really stick, if it's going to really happen. And of course, the internet and the information age is full upon us. So I had the opportunity to pop online and see what I could make of it. And this is just where I share the stuff that's worked, the stuff that's been an absolute epic failure, and what I'm doing now. So now I am creating quite a bit of video content, because video for me is easy. I have some physical challenges that make writing and texting and the written word challenging for me, and I actually write better than I talk, so it's a little frustrating and it's a learning curve for me to communicate verbally instead of and visually instead of writing, because my preferred mode of communication is writing, because you can edit it and you can have spell correct and you can have people check it for you, and so that's for me more comfortable and easier, but harder given that I have certain vision challenges right now. I like to do this. This is my glasses nowadays, but that doesn't even work. So we do what we can do with what we've got right now. So today, one of the pieces that we were talking about, I'm doing a setup for success as part of a 30-day upcoming Get Up and Go challenge. During COVID, I wanted to do something where I could give back and help people and help myself to keep moving forward during a time of chaos and change when a whole lot of stuff was outside of our personal control. Now, we can always control how we respond to things, but things like whether your business was open or closed was immediately set by people outside of us. Whether we could go places or do things was literally set and controlled by people outside of us for a period of time. And now there's some pushback coming on that, a topic for another day. But all in all, I needed to focus on the things that I could do, that I could control. And I wanted to make sure I was using the time productively, no matter how much time it was going to be. Originally, it was 2 weeks. And then all of a sudden, another month was added, and another month, and another month, and another month. I'm in Wisconsin, and right on the border of Minnesota. So a lot of what we do is impacted not by one, but by 2 states. So it's been really interesting. It's been a really interesting journey. And I want to say fun, but I think people will get mad about that. But I think change and challenges are really, really fun, which is part of why I've been doing this. Will be my 4th 30-plus day challenge during the COVID pandemic, because my intent is to guarantee people will be better off after the change, after the challenge, after something they experience, than before they actually experienced it. And there's an easy framework and process that we can install in our subconscious that guarantees that will happen. And it's really easy, and I call it the soap framework because it seemed a little appropriate for all the hand washing we were doing. And I come from the food industry where I always had those chapped hands and the little finger cuts because I washed my hands so many times a day, at least 30 times a day. So for me, COVID was no different than what I've been doing for literally over 3 decades. And in some ways, yes, the masks and the going out were different, but I came up through corporate American engineering in the food industry and in the personal care products industry. So we always wore and were super sanitary and super clean and safe, because the products and services we were providing to people were something they either put on their body or ingested. And when you do that, you want to make sure that nothing bad is ever going to happen to the people that interact with your products or services. So I've spent decades doing that, so it's pretty natural and pretty inherent in my being. And then I was in the quality function and the sanitation function, which is, again, right up the things that are necessary during COVID. So to me, that was kind of an advantage. But I wanted to keep moving forward during this transition time. And is it, I don't know if it's transition time is the right word, because guess what? We are always transitioning. We are always changing and growing, and things around us are always changing. And it's up to us to decide how we're going to interact and respond to those changes, and who we're going to become in the process. So speed of change, speed of anything. The topic today was speed only counts in a competition, or speed only matters in races. And we decide what races and what competitions and what path and journey we're going to be on. So that was our topic today. A good topic about not comparing ourselves to others, only comparing ourselves to ourselves, because when we're only comparing ourselves to ourselves, the only competition we have is with ourselves, and speed becomes irrelevant because it's up to us to be continually improving, and how fast or slow that happens depends on how we feel about the thing that we're doing at the time. Supersize your business today. The topic was fly off the handle, which is, do we get angry and upset and out of control and furious about certain topics or situations, and what things tip us over and cause us to be upset and furious about them. And then we need to ask ourselves, well, why am I this upset? Who does that even belong to? Am I upset because of a belief or a disagreement about something? And then is that belief that I'm fighting for even mine? I remember looking at some of my beliefs, and I used to believe very strongly in a religious doctrine, let's say. And then I had my sudden cardiac arrest, and that whole belief system blew up because I realized that my beliefs weren't really my own. They were beliefs and things I thought a lot because that's what I grew up believing. But after I had a different experience, I questioned those beliefs, and I changed my perspective and my thoughts and my feelings about that. And once my beliefs changed, I realized that I could change my beliefs. I could realize that some of the beliefs I was holding, some of the thoughts and the things that I would argue for, weren't even mine. They belonged to other people. Maybe it was a teacher that said something when I was growing up. Maybe it was my parents. Maybe it was my grandparents believed a certain thing, and we just heard it enough on a subconscious level that it became our thoughts, our beliefs, our feelings, our patterns, or mine. And I realized I, as an adult, didn't even believe that anymore. And so I could choose what I stand up for and what I don't stand for. So fly off the handle was our discussion today, and the things that upset us, and then what we can do about it and how we can respond in a way that is best for us, right? Sometimes just not engaging is the right thing to do. If something feels bad, we need to walk away, not run into it. If there's a burning building, you run out of it. You don't run into it, right? Because that would feel very bad. So that was our topic today. Fun challenge today was 3 things, and it wasn't really 3 things. I just added 3 things that are involved for you to have fun. What are 3 elements, 3 things that you need to have fun or feel that a situation is fun for you? So working on that today. Going to work on the book today. I'm in a 30 books in 30 days challenge, which for somebody visually challenged is indeed a push and a challenge. And I'm using it to help me write my book. I'm consuming books that help me write my book, and I am writing my book as part of that. And I'm using the challenges, the reading challenges, as a way to put processes and procedures and systems in place that help me to get the information I need to move forward in my life without having to literally read books from cover to cover, because that's not very feasible for me right now. And personally, listening to audiobooks, I have very little desire to do that. I am a visual person, which is kind of funny when I realize I'm a visual person, but auditory things and listening to things, I don't retain a whole lot of it. I know they say people do, but I don't so much. And usually it's because I listen when I'm out walking. I cannot sit in a chair and just listen to something. Even when in corporate America, I always listen to cassette tapes and things and programs and courses in the car to and from work in traffic, because it made the traffic seem less tedious, right? And it made me feel like I was doing something productive during that time, so I wasn't just stuck in traffic. It became kind of one of my favorite times of day. It was the only time I could have peace and quiet and think about and plan my days, or it was the only time I could like study and learn and grow and expand on different topics and things that I wanted to listen to. So even though I was listening, I was always driving as well. And I'm listening, I'm out walking in nature. And when I'm out walking in nature, guess what? Sometimes I get distracted and I'm paying attention to the cute little squirrels. I'm not paying attention to what I'm listening to. I also don't like that in audiobooks right now, and hopefully that this will be something that comes down the pipe, is a way to only listen to the parts I want to listen to. I'm learning as part of this reading challenge that, guess what? You don't need to read the whole book, because usually in a book, just like in anything else, 80% of the book is fluff and stories and added, and it doesn't really get you the main points and the information you need. And 20% of the book is really all you need to answer the questions and solve the problem, or get the information you need that you're reading the book for in the first place. So how do you filter out the 20% you need and just skip the 80% you don't need? How do you do that in an audiobook version? That's my new question today. I guess I just came up with a question. How do I do that in an audiobook? And given that it's going to be different for each person that's reading the book. When I read a book, I'm looking for certain pieces of information. When someone else, like you, read that same book, you're reading it for different reasons and for different information. So how do you do that with an audiobook so that you can pick out the pieces that you personally need and just leave the rest and not have to listen to everything? With some things I'll listen double speed, and that helps. But other times, because our brains can comprehend something a lot faster than we can consciously think about it. So you can listen to things on double speed. I talk on double speed sometimes. Sorry. My daughter says I yell. So I'm using this challenge to come up with things like that and to find solutions to things like that. And I have a unique set of circumstances and challenges and problems that I need to find solutions to that don't necessarily apply to the vast majority of people on the planet. And so that is my journey. I need to figure those things out. That's what I'm working on. If I can help you in any way, ask in the questions below, or send me a message. Otherwise, I will be with you tomorrow to update you on what I'm working on as I continue this journey from the offline brick and mortar world to the online world, from the real world to the fun world of the internet, which incidentally during COVID was the perfect thing to have done a couple of years ago. But it's never too late. You can start right now and create what you want to create and create your own sense of freedom and security, not depending on everyone else on the planet to mess with your existence. All right, have an awesome day. Catch you tomorrow.